We turn now to a local historian who has made a major breakthrough in a family mystery that's followed his recent appearance on Morning Focus. Anthony Dargan's back with the final update on his search for Agnes Hynes of Ennistymon, a woman who appeared to disappear from the records. What began as a local inquiry became a cross-country story linking Clare and Waterford, and thanks to a listener's tip, the missing piece has now been found and recorded under a different name. Agnes Hynes has finally been traced, leading to the restoration of a family connections lost for more than 60 years. Anthony joins us now with the final chapter in the Hynes Genealogy search. Anthony, good to be speaking with you again. How are you?
Good morning, Alan. I'm grand, thank you. After Clare's win yesterday, I'm in better form.
That's just added to it, but no doubt you're in good form given when you joined us initially. There was a lot here that there was a few roadblocks in terms of your trying to uncover more on the family story. Can you just remind listeners what originally puzzled you about Agnes Hynes and her story?
Yeah, this search was the tale of three ladies. One of them being Agnes Hynes, who married a granduncle of mine, Frank Hynes, in 1929 in Ennistymon. And after that, she disappeared. He married again in 1944 and was registered as a widower. And he married a Catherine Knox, who was a resident in the Hinch at the time. So getting back to Agnes, we found her last week, but she was registered under Alice Hynes. And I should have copped it probably, but I didn't at the time. And she died in 1942, March 1942, of tuberculosis and meningitis. And she was a patient in the Ennistymon District Hospital. It was verified that Alice in fact was Agnes, and in contact with the parish office in Ennistymon, they clarified that she was in the church in Ennistymon around the 8th of March for her funeral. So that's the first lady. Okay,
and once, Anthony, that missing record is found and you figured out that Agnes was recorded under a different name and was registered as Alice rather than Agnes, how quickly did the rest of the family story begin to fall into place? Because I know when you were last with us the second time, you uncovered a web of connections around Flannan's Terrace, not just the Hynes family, but the Gallaghers and the McNamaras.
That's right. That's right. That was an amazing one, really. The Hynes family initially lived in 30 St. Flannan's Terrace. The Dargan's died there when my mother married. And in 32, you had the Gallagher family. The initial Gallagher family would have been Susan Gallagher, who was married to Thomas. Now, Susan was a Hynes, and she was, in fact, the sister of my grandfather, Thomas Hynes, who lived in Turkey, which we weren't aware of growing up. When Susan and Thomas had one son, registered as Michael James, but we knew him as Jimmy. And Jimmy was married to a lovely, lovely lady from the market of Fergus. We called her Daisy. In fact, her name was Jane McNamara. And Jane and Daisy and Jimmy had one daughter, Marion. And when we moved away from Flannan's Terrace in the early 60s, down to Limerick Road, went off to college and so on, and contact was lost until last week when I was looking for Marion. I knew that she was living in Ennis, but didn't know where. And in fact, her daughter's living in Galway, Jane, and her father-in-law heard the interview, rang Jane, who rang Marion, who was in Galway shopping. Marion left her contact details with you there in the office, and it was texted to me, and I rang her the following day. So we made contact after 66 years plus.
And what was that like, Anthony, to reconnect with someone after, if you're reconnected with someone after a couple of years, it'd feel momentous. After 60, after more than 6.5 decades.
Exactly. It was wonderful to hear from her, because we knew back that Marion had a bit of tragedy in her life when she lost her mother in 1990, when Daisy passed away after a horrific accident in, I think it was called Manus, between Shercastle and Newmarket. So that was something that she had to bear in early life. And after I speaking to her, we were on the phone for I'd say an hour at a time. We made arrangements to meet the following Wednesday, which was last Wednesday. So I was down in Ennis, I had a few other things to do. So I called to Marion, got a great reception and a great welcome from her, and a very chatty lady, a very positive lady, considering what she had to go through. But what I liked about her was that she has a very positive attitude to life, and that has brought her through the number of tragedies she had to deal with throughout her life.
And that is incredible, given the tragedies in the family over the years, that she is very positive. And for you, I can tell, I think the listeners can tell as well, you sound pretty chuffed, Anthony, which is no surprise. It's understandable. Did this discovery, did it feel like a form of closure?
It definitely did. But what I was also looking for were photographs. And would you believe it? She had a lovely photograph of her grandmother, Susan Hynes, and as well as lovely pictures of Daisy and her daughter, Elaine, who passed away at 25 in 2004. And I had my scanner and computer with me, so we scanned and we saved, and they're now included in the family tree. So very, very positive, and delighted with the help that your program has been able to bring to us, and of course yourself and your loveliest researcher there, young Lena. So yes, it has brought closure, and I'm on to some other branch of the family now to work on that. And they're in other parts of the country. Okay,
well, look, we here at Morning Focus are delighted to have played our part in bringing some resolution to this mystery. But of course, our listeners as well, the most important element of Morning Focus. They always chip in and help out when they hear somebody who needs a bit of information or help with something. And I did want to ask you, Anthony, whether now that you have this mystery wrapped up in a neat little bow, whether you're going to put your feet up, but it sounds like you're getting back to some sleuthing.
Yes, I have gone to researching the deaths of Susan's father, Susan's husband, Thomas, in World War One, Susan's brother, Michael, in World War One, both in 1917, and then to my grandmother, who was in McGrath from Glensley in Feakle. Her brother's son, Patrick Miles McGrath, was killed. He was an RAF pilot. He was killed in World War II. Well, so that will keep you busy.
Well, it'll keep you busy. And look, Anthony, if you hit any stumbling blocks, you know where we are, and you know where our listeners are as well. So just pick up the phone, and we'll all rush to your help. Brilliant to hear, though, that this particular strand of the branch of the family tree has been resolved, and great that you met up with as well. Thanks very much for joining us, Anthony, and filling us in. Delighted that's worked out, and I have a feeling we're going to be hearing from you again in the near future. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Take care. For the time being, Anthony Dargan there, the local historian. And if you like Anthony, it sounds like Anthony's going to be back on to us. If you're looking for help in solving a mystery or finding someone, long lost relative, friend, whatever it might be, or some issue you have, whatever it might be, get in touch with us here at Morning Focus, because our listeners are always only too happy to help out. 0818 400 964 is the number as always to call, or you can text or WhatsApp us on 086 1800 964.